Hi everybody, it is a hot and sunny Sunday here in Florida, but it's not raining, so I'm not complaining. But it is time to do a video. Hey, well, I want to tell you how my week has gone. Seems like every day, and it doesn't fail, somebody calls me or I end up talking to somebody who brings up the subject of depression. Either they talk about their own past depressions, or they went through a long period of depression themselves, or they are currently depressed at this moment. I even had one person out of these many people, actually, one person said that they were born depressed, and boy, that just lit a light bulb up in my head because I could relate to that. Um, Depression, I think, is such a popular subject this week because, as you know, in my last video, Robin Williams died, and he had a long history of battling depression. Um, so I often actually tell people my own observation in my own life with depression. Like the person on the phone I was talking to said that they were born depressed, and I said I could relate to that. That's because I felt like I was born depressed, and I knew I was depressed all my life up until I started understanding the gospel of grace and peace. And I had a moment in my life, and this is many years ago now, where I discovered something about me. I observed something about me as I was coming to understand grace. Something happened in my personal life, and um, I had expectations on some people, actually, not just one. I really expected them to show me love in a way that I expected them to show me love. And it was, when it comes to expectations, my expectations on them and the way that I felt they should have shown me love, I realized my expectations were unreasonable. Um, Most of the time, in most cases, expectations are things that you imagine. And nothing turns out exactly the way you imagine it. And I really had never been loved in a very unconditional way up until this time. So my expectations of how people should show me love were totally unrealistic because I didn't know what unconditional love even looked like. And I was very depressed. And in this moment, I was really at a low moment of depression. And when I discovered my expectations were unrealistic, I started observing in the days ahead other events that would go on in my life. And I realized I had a lot of unrealistic expectations, and the more I went on, I didn't feel I had any expectations that weren't unrealistic. So um, when I was learning grace and how God didn't have any expectations upon us, um, I just decided, you know, from everything I've learned about grace, there is no good or evil, and I'm not going to expect anything one way or the other. And it really benefited me a lot. um, and my my lifelong depression, my world in all those years leading up to that time, was very dark and gray. Um, it had no warmth and it had no color. When I stopped having expectations on every moment and person in my life, including myself, um, my world started warming up and lightening up, and it had color and beauty. Um, what I'm telling you is an observation. This is by no means an instruction, but I am sharing my story with you because I've shared it with several others in my life, and a lot of people it has helped. Um, so anyway, uh, it reminds me of something that Solomon said one time. He said, "Hope deferred makes the heart grow sick." And when your expectations are unrealized, most likely because they are unrealistic, it makes the heart grow sick. So that really is a very fitting proverb, I think, and it may help some people here. I'm also reminded of an experience that Mike shares in his own book, one, The Gospel According to Mike. In one of the chapters there, he talks about how he went to visit a man who had a really powerful impact on his life. And the man was very sick, and the family asked Mike to pray for him. And Mike was already to a point in his life where he was reluctant to pray for anyone. And he prayed for this man, and nothing happened. And when Mike left, he got into his vehicle where he was all by himself, and he literally threw a fit. He was so upset because nothing happened. That man did not get better. Nothing happened during that prayer. And then Mike said he had this experience, this moment, where a voice all of a sudden said something like this. It said, "You have the grace to know that I will not be upset with you because of anything you do or don't do. Why can't you have the grace for me and and not be upset with me regardless of what I do or don't do?" Powerful experience. Um, so anyway, folks, I just wanted to share this because, like I said, a lot of people are talking about depression, and this observation that I've had in my own life, I wanted to share it because maybe you're one of these people who it might help. Um, and all I can say is, again, don't make this an instruction. Just make it an observation of your own. As your days in life go on, if something hits you, maybe you'll observe something you weren't seeing, which is another thing that expectations did to me. When I had expectations on things, I was missing things that were right in front of me because I wasn't looking for them. I was looking for something that was unrealistic. When I gave up my expectations, I started seeing things that were there all along. So I hope that begins your week coming up on a positive and maybe even enlightened note, and have a revolutionary week.